don't like her mom. Her mom used to like she always wanted to come, you know, for our dad. She always wanted to live with our dad. And I don't even know where to start from. It's crazy. I wasn't expecting my sister to be dead, but stuff still was seeming all right.
That they were testing for blood. There's something called luminol, which can light up a floor.
Everyone's seen this on CSI.
Yeah.
That they spray it and it, allows them to see if there are traces of blood, even if it's been cleaned up.
So they were looking, on the floors. They were looking in drains to see if there were any traces of blood. We don't know.
Like, tell me where you at? Where is you at? No. Where's you at? Ooh, she's not telling me. She's like, last time I talked to her. Last time I talked to her, like, when we come home. She said she wanted to come home. So I'm guessing she even held her hostage.
When this story first broke, no one could believe it. A rising artist with millions of fans, a teenage girl who just wanted to be loved, and a case so dark, so tangled, that every new detail made your stomach twist a little tighter. This isn't just another Hollywood tragedy. It's a haunting reminder of how fame, obsession, and silence can destroy everything. Celeste Rivas was only 15, sweet, shy, and still figuring out who she was. Her story started like so many others, a young fan drawn to someone who seemed larger than life. But what she didn't know was that behind the lights, behind the songs, and the charisma, something much darker was waiting. Her mom, according to people close to the case, wasn't always there for her. There were whispers of neglect, of fights, of a girl who just wanted to escape. Celeste apparently kept talking about wanting to live with her dad, hoping things would be better. Nobody thought much of it, just another teenager caught between parents. But it would soon become the first warning sign. The moment that shattered everything began in Hollywood. A car impound, a strange foul smell coming from a Tesla parked just a few blocks from David's home. People started calling it in, first a couple of locals, then security guards. When LAPD finally opened that trunk, what they found was every parent's worst nightmare. Inside were human remains, decomposed beyond recognition. Later tests confirmed it was Celeste Rivas. The discovery sent shockwaves through Los Angeles. The moment news hit the internet, David's name exploded across every platform. His fans, his haters, even people who had never heard of him before, everyone wanted answers. How did a 15-year-old end up in the trunk of a rising musician's car? Investigators started piecing together the timeline. They found out Celeste had actually been reported missing months earlier. Not once, but twice. The first time she was found and brought home. The second time she vanished again. And this time, she never came back. Her mother saw the story about the body found in a Tesla and reportedly panicked. Instead of calling the police, she reached out to TMZ. Yes, the celebrity news outlet. And that's how the feds got tipped off. TMZ passed the information to authorities. And within hours, investigators were connecting dots that had been ignored for months.
Have been staying in the Hollywood Hills. So we now find out that they were testing for blood. There's something called luminol, which can light up a floor.
Everyone's seen this on CSI.
Yeah.
That they spray it and it, allows them to see if there are traces of blood, even if it's been cleaned up.
So they were looking, on the floors. They were looking in drains to see if there were any traces of blood. We don't know what the results of the search were. But it's significant because the Tesla that contained her body in the trunk was parked.
What they uncovered next made the story even darker. Celeste's body was so badly decomposed that investigators initially couldn't identify her. But then they found something chilling. Tattoos. Matching tattoos. One on her body and one on David's. The same word, the same font. A silent symbol of their relationship. That discovery raised an awful question. How long had this been going on?
When officers
and how did
opened
no
the
one
trunk,
stop it?
they found
David's
decomposed
younger brother,
remains.
Caleb was the one who finally cracked things open. He reportedly told police everything they needed to know to make an arrest. And what he said made people sick. According to reports, Caleb had known for a while that David was seeing Celeste. He even tried to warn her mother, but she brushed it off. She didn't want to believe it, or maybe she didn't care. Either way, that silence cost Celeste her life. Caleb described disturbing details about what might have happened to Celeste Celeste inside that house. Investigators later confirmed that luminol tests, the same chemical seen in shows like CSI, were used inside David's home. It's a chemical that makes even the smallest traces of blood glow, even after they've been cleaned. Detectives sprayed the floors, the drains, the walls. The search reportedly lit up more than anyone expected. The working theory now is that Celeste might have been dismembered in that house and then placed in the Tesla, which was later parked a short distance away. The LAPD hasn't named a suspect yet, at least not publicly, but the search warrant alone proves they had enough probable cause to believe a crime was committed. And that means one thing: they already have someone in mind. Online, people began digging deeper into David's past, and what they found painted a disturbing picture. He wasn't hiding his connection with Celeste. In fact, he was flaunting it. He'd post her in his videos, tag her in songs, even hint at her presence in his lyrics. Some fans thought it was cute, a mysterious muse behind the music.
For there to be a potential swatting incident where somebody calls 911 with a fake allegation, a fake crime for their property, out of all people, out of all times, it's weird.
Well, it's weird, but it doesn't necessarily surprise me, because this case has taken on national significance in terms of people paying attention to it.
But others started connecting the dots. They realized Celeste was just 15. The comments that resurfaced later were bone-chilling. One from 2024 read, "I live in Lake Elsinore, just minutes away." Everyone knew. Her family knew he was with her since she was 11. They didn't care. They just cared about the money. That one comment turned the case from tragic to twisted.
And so it seems like their working theory is she might have been
Or
dismembered
in the house and then placed in that car and parked, a block and a half away.
Right, and we should say that the police have not named a suspect yet. The police have not named a person of interest yet, but that doesn't mean they don't have one. They got a search warrant, which means they clearly were able to show a judge that there was probable cause to believe a crime was committed. But the police have been playing this really close to the vest.
Because it wasn't just David being accused, it was her entire circle. Her mom, her friends, even her community. There were claims that Celeste's friends had taken money from David to keep quiet, that her mom allowed her to live with him in exchange for weekly payments. And the scariest part, it lined up with messages pulled from Discord, private chats where Celeste complained about her parents, and David reassured her saying, "Don't worry, I'll fix it." For months, people online had been warning about David. A comment from someone named Robin River on one of his old videos said, "I'm just waiting for the cops to get David for messing with minors." That was posted long before anyone knew about Celeste. At the time, most fans brushed it off as hate, but now it looks like someone out there already knew what was going on. And then an even older TikTok comment resurfaced. "Can't wait for LAPD to get you for messing with a 13-year-old girl."
Have evidence that Celeste's family knew about her relationship with David and allowed it. And this comment from 2024 is getting a lot of attention. So someone in Celeste's community commented on a post saying, "I live in Lake Elsinore, 5 to 10 minutes away. There was so much more going on. Her family knew he was with her since she was 11. They didn't care. All they cared for was the money given to them." She said, unfortunately, she was reported missing in 2024, but they all knew where she was. Even her friends extorted David with money so they wouldn't say where she was staying. I think the mom should be held responsible too for allowing a child to move in with a boyfriend at that age.
That comment barely got noticed a year ago. But now, it feels like a prophecy that everyone ignored. People started connecting it to Celeste's circle, believing it came from someone close to her. Maybe a friend who saw too much. Maybe someone who tried to speak out but was drowned out by the internet's noise. As the case gained attention, more locals from Lake Elsinore came forward. They claimed Celeste's mom knew everything, that she let her daughter go with David because he was paying the bills, that he was giving money to people around her to stay silent. One person even claimed her mom sold her for $10,000 a week. It sounded unbelievable at first, but when paired with screenshots and the timing of her disappearances, it suddenly didn't sound so far-fetched. Then came one of the strangest details yet. A video from one of David's concerts surfaced online. In it, you can see caskets, actual caskets, was placed on stage. Fans were told to write notes to the dead. At the time, people thought it was just edgy stage art, but when the news broke about Celeste, that same footage hit different. The video was reportedly filmed on July 30th, just weeks before the discovery. And to make things even eerier, one of David's biggest songs, Romantic Homicide, was released on September 7th, Celeste's birthday. That connection sent chills down everyone's spine. The lyrics, the timing, the symbols. Suddenly, everything that once looked like art started to look like confession. People kept asking the same question. Why didn't Celeste's mother mention David's name the first time her daughter went missing? Why wait until after she saw the news about the Tesla? It didn't make sense. If your child goes missing twice, and you know she's been spending time with a grown man, wouldn't you tell the police immediately? The delay felt deliberate, and now, as the LAPD continues digging, everything points toward a cover-up that goes deeper than anyone imagined. They raided David's house, tearing through every room. Reports say they found a lot. They haven't shared details publicly yet, but sources close to the investigation believe evidence could lead to a formal arrest at any moment. Meanwhile, fans started noticing things in David's social media that suddenly looked sinister in hindsight. His last TikTok post was on September 7th, the same day Celeste would have turned 15. It teased his new album, showed what looked like a series of text messages, 15 photos in total. Coincidence? Maybe, but in the context of everything that's come out, it doesn't feel like one. His other posts are even darker. Memes and quotes about toxic love, heartbreak, and breaking the law for love. One lyric in particular stands out: "I don't care about the law when I'm with you, cause I be breaking it all the time." Back then, fans thought it was edgy poetry. Now it reads like a warning. The more police searched, the more they found. Photos, items, forensic evidence that might connect everything back to the night Celeste disappeared. The luminol tests in the house weren't random. Detectives clearly believed something violent had happened there, and from the amount of evidence collected, it's clear they might be right. Investigators now believe the nightmare began inside David's own house.
There's a lot more than what's being said. Here in Elsinore, all her friends are talking about it because she was in communication with them. So sad. She said she would sneak out at age 11 even though her neighborhood is horrible, but her parents saw that he had money and became more dependent and would let her leave the house at 13 even though he was 18. She said her mother sold her for $10K a week and he paid so that he wouldn't be seen as a... which does add up with their Discord messages of her complaining about her parents and him saying, "Don't worry, I'll fix it." And the other crazy thing is that people found this comment on one of David's videos back in 2024 where someone named Robin River said he's waiting on the cops to get David for messing with minors. This is long before many of us knew about him and Celeste would be around 13 at that time. Since then, his account has blown up and people are waiting and hoping that whoever this is gives us some answers. Rest in peace to Celeste. Let me know what you guys think, and as anything comes out,
The evidence points to something horrific happening there before he allegedly drove the car to the impound lot, abandoning it like he thought no one would ever look. The whole thing feels planned, not a crime of passion, but something cold, methodical, and calculated. As detectives dug deeper, they began hearing whispers from Celeste's old neighborhood. One neighbor came forward saying Celeste's family had been letting her spend time with David since she was just 13. At first, it sounded impossible, but the more this neighbor talked, the worse it got. According to them, Celeste's mom and stepfather became financially dependent on David. He kept them comfortable, throwing money their way just to keep their silence, and they, in turn, looked the other way. The neighbor claimed it didn't take much, just a few $1,000s here and there, for them to let their underage daughter stay at his house whenever he wanted. It's disturbing to even think about, but it explains a lot about how David gained complete access to her. This wasn't just grooming, it was manipulation at its most sinister level. Leaked messages between David and Celeste made that manipulation clear. In one text, she complained about her parents being annoying, and David replied with a chilling promise, "Don't worry, I'll fix it." That one sentence suddenly took on a new meaning when reports surfaced that he'd been sending her family money through PayPal, as much as $10,000 a week, just to keep things quiet. That's not love, that's control. Before the police even confirmed the identity of the body in the Tesla, Celeste's friends already knew. One viral message from her circle said, "This guy is a weirdo. My friend's little sister ran away last year, and that's who she was with. She was in 7th grade. That post came from someone in the Inland Empire, not far from Lake Elsinore, where Celeste lived. When investigators looked into it, the timeline lined up perfectly. Even before the police said a word, her friends were already whispering the truth. David was responsible. What? One of Celeste's closest friends later revealed what their last conversation was like. Celeste had been drinking, emotional, and calling David nonstop. She was upset, desperate, and sounded terrified. The friend said they'd gotten matching tattoos when they were dating, which still feels unbelievable given how young she was. David had even posted her photos on Instagram, showing her off like she was some kind of trophy. But once they broke up, he wiped everything, deleted every post, every trace, like he was trying to erase her from his life completely. That friend also said something that hit hard. They thought Celeste might have lied about her age when she first met David, pretending to be older. But even if she did, he knew he had to. And instead of stepping away, he leaned in. He turned her into a secret he could control. A few days after that final call, Celeste deleted her entire account. No photos, no stories, no posts. She vanished online the same way she vanished in real life. Later, investigators found that she'd made a new Discord account under the name Deleted User. On that account, she was still talking to David, right up until the exact window when police believe he allegedly took her life. Then suddenly the messages stopped, cold. Around that same time, screenshots started leaking across social media, alleged messages between David and Celeste that sent shockwaves through everyone who saw them. In those texts, David admitted to paying her family thousands every month. Even worse, one message claimed Celeste was pregnant. The internet erupted. People were horrified. How deep did this really go? Celeste had also posted a photo not long before everything happened, wearing an engagement ring David had given her and showing off a new tattoo that read David. It's gut-wrenching to look at that photo now, knowing what would come next. Neighbors said they'd seen David around her street multiple times. He'd park his car nearby, sometimes just sitting there for hours. Other times, he'd walk up to her house, acting like he was waiting for her to sneak out. They said he'd often pick her up late at night, when her family wasn't watching. It wasn't some secret romance. It was a dangerous obsession unfolding in plain sight. Meanwhile, David's younger brother Caleb, the same one who had always defended him, finally reached his breaking point. When police came calling again, this time he didn't stay quiet. He talked, and from what insiders say, he didn't hold anything back. Caleb reportedly gave investigators a full account of what he knew, the money, the relationship, and the moments leading up to Celeste's disappearance. His cooperation might be the key that finally brings justice. But even with all these revelations, there's one thing haunting people more than anything else: David's music. Fans are now replaying his old tracks, listening to them through an entirely new lens, and what they're hearing is terrifying. In his biggest hit, Romantic Homicide, David sings, "In the back of my mind, you died and I didn't even cry, not a single tear. In the back of my mind, you died and I didn't even regret it." At the time, people thought it was just emotional storytelling, but now those lyrics sound like something else entirely, a confession hidden in plain sight. Even more disturbing, the song came out years before Celeste disappeared. Was he predicting something, or was it all just coincidence? Either way, it's hard to listen the same way again. And it doesn't stop there. Deep in his old SoundCloud catalog, fans rediscovered another track, one literally titled Celeste. The lyrics are dark and obsessive. "Oh, Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed." Then he goes on, "Afraid you'll only love me when undressed. You look so damn gorgeous in that dress. Missing you makes me depressed." Hearing those words now, it doesn't feel like a song. It feels like a diary, a twisted glimpse into the mind of someone completely consumed by control and possession.
The case keeps on getting weirder and darker. So David, the singer who had a 15-year-old girl found dead in his car, supposedly was bringing caskets to his recent concert. Take a look at this video. This girl looks like she was filming it on July 30th. You can clearly see caskets, and I guess the idea of this was for people to write notes to the dead. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just watch my recent videos on this and it'll catch you up. But also, the girl who died, her name was Celeste Hernandez, and her birthday was on September 7th. If you look at the date, Romantic Homicide, one of his songs that talks about literally killing someone, it was released on September 7th, 3 years ago, and this is straight from YouTube.
And then there's the video. A resurfaced clip from one of his old music videos shows David loading what looks like a lifeless body into the trunk of a car. Fans are now saying that scene mirrors what happened to Celeste almost exactly. Was it just creative imagery or something more sinister? No one knows for sure, but the resemblance is enough to make your skin crawl. People who knew Celeste in real life are coming forward, trying to make sense of it all. One of her former teachers said they'd seen David pick her up outside the school multiple times. They thought he was a family friend. No one imagined the truth. Now, that teacher says they can't stop thinking about all the missed signs. The adults who could have spoken up didn't. The ones who should have protected her stayed silent.
Now, if we go to his TikTok, his last post was on September 7th, and it talked about him releasing a new album. And these look like text messages, the photos he posted maybe. But there's also 15 of them, and she turned 15 on September 7th. Speaking of his TikTok, a lot of his reposts are pretty scary. I mean, it's just toxic relationship stuff. They're memes, but now they carry a different meaning. If you're wondering how old David is, he is 20 and the girl is 15. And in this chat, you can see some Epstein jokes being made, and then she says this.
He trained you. That's controversial.
It's controversial of it's
really good.
Okay,
it's been a good one.
Clearly the age difference, not good, and he didn't care because in one of his songs he says, I don't care about the law when I'm with you because I be breaking it all the time.
Even those who wanted to help were powerless when her own family seemed to allow it. The system failed her again and again. Now, with Caleb cooperating, investigators have a clearer picture of what really happened. He's reportedly helping them piece together a timeline, filling in the gaps of those final days, and insiders say the evidence against David is overwhelming. Still, despite everything, the witness accounts, the leaked messages, the disturbing songs, David remains free. That's what's making people furious. The car where Celeste's body was found was never reported stolen. That alone kills any excuse he could possibly have. The evidence is mounting, the public is demanding answers, and yet somehow there's still no arrest. Online, the anger is boiling. Comments are flooding in on every video and post related to the case. One user wrote, "It's not looking good for him. Bless her heart. May she rest in peace." Another said, "He needs to be arrested before he hides evidence or hurts himself to escape it." People are scared not just for justice, but for what David might do next. As the walls close in, the world is watching. Everyone's waiting for that one breaking headline, the one that says an arrest has finally been made. But until that moment comes, all we can do is keep asking questions. Why did no one protect her? Why was her pain ignored? And how did this go on for so long without anyone stepping in? Celeste deserved more than silence. She deserved a chance to grow up, to dream, to be safe. Instead, her story has become a haunting echo that refuses to fade. So now, the question remains, do you believe David really took Celeste's life? And what does it say about a world where even the people closest to her let it happen? Let me know what you think. Stay tuned, stay aware, and remember, the truth always surfaces, even when people try to bury it.